Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Lori Pop and I am with Spark and Logic. Today's workshop is going to focus on the absorption rate. We're going to talk about what it is, how do you calculate it, but even better yet, how do you leverage it with your buyers and sellers? So let's go ahead and dive in. You will have received 3 handouts. The first one that I draw your attention to is our information sheet. How do you calculate the absorption rate and why does it matter? First off, we should cover what the absorption rate actually is. It's how long it will take to sell your current market's inventory of homes based on the current pace of the sales. Understanding your area's absorption rate is important for 3 different reasons. Number 1, you're going to become an authority on where the market is headed. Number 2, you're going to be able to provide excellent guidance to your buyers and sellers based on this information. And number 3, it'll enable you to clearly explain market conditions to both buyers and sellers. So the absorption rate is actually based on trends rather than an exact science. And you'll see that as we go through the process of putting this together. But to get started, all you're going to need are 2 numbers. And these you'll get from your MLS. We're going to need to know the number of listings that are currently on the market and how many listings sold the month right before. So let's go ahead and get started here. The rest of this particular document will give you the step-by-step information that you need to fill this out, so use this as a great reference tool. Now I'm going to be pulling up a spreadsheet that is called the Absorption Rate Worksheet. This particular version of the worksheet includes a little bit more information than the snapshot version does, but I'll show you both today. So first off, one of the things that's always important to do is to identify the time period, the area, and some more information that you can get from your MLS right up at the top. These are going to be great talking points when you sit down with your client. And then the bottom half of the worksheet simply puts together the information that you need, and you'll notice that I already have formulas embedded to help make this easier and faster for you to put together. So I have one of these already filled in, and I'd like to share that with you now. So I'm going to do a pretend absorption rate calculation here. And I live in Livingston County, Michigan, so I chose that area as my market area. So I'm filling in the information. I'm filling this out and it's relevant for March 2021. Always put a date on this information because you know how fast the market can shift. You don't want anybody thinking that they've got current information when it might actually be several months old. People will hang on to this kind of information for a long time. So that's why it's important to identify as much as possible the time period and what area you're pulling from. We're going to be looking at Livingston County, Michigan, and based on my research in the MLS, I was able to find that the average sales price last year was $256,000. This year, we've already jumped to $295,000, and it doesn't look like we're going to be settling there at all. I'm expecting the average sales price will continue to rise, especially in a multi-offer situation. Now, last year, we had 752 listings sell, but compared to the same time period this year, only 629. What does this help you show to your client? Low inventory. We don't have a lot of listings out there that are going under contract, but our prices are increasing. So already just those 2 figures alone would tell your client it's definitely a seller's market. And we're having a quick average days on market, 35 from the time it goes on the market to the time we're closing it. You're going to see mortgage lenders, inspectors, everybody is moving at a breakneck speed in order to get these deals done as quickly as possible. So great information that we're putting right up at the top of the report that you'll want to talk about with your clients. But now let's dive into the actual absorption rate itself. When you're pulling the information from the MLS, you'll want to do it in specified price ranges. We don't want to do the whole market at once because we know that not every area of the market is moving the same. So for my market, $25,000 price ranges made sense. Now we still have a few fixer-uppers that are 1 bedroom, not very much square footage, that are going in the price from $50,000 to $75,000. These are further out from our more desirable cities, so I still want to include those so that I can tell maybe I have an investor client that's looking to get and flip a home. I want to make sure he understands how fast do we need to move. So this, right as of right now, we have 3 current listings. And how many sold the previous month? Well, we actually had 3 sell. So we have less than a month of inventory. Things are going that quickly. If this is the case for most of your market, you can easily show buyers why they need to be prepared. Have that pre-approval letter. Understand their terms and conditions that they're thinking about. What contingencies are they going to want to put on a contract? Are they willing to go above list price? All of these are great conversations that you can have by showing them how fast the market is moving. It's funny, people read about it in the news all the time, but when it comes right down to it, you'd be amazed how many buyers are still lowballing offers in markets that are going faster than hotcakes. All right, so you see how this information can help. So every time I put in a number here, this last column will automatically calculate. So let's say I actually had 3 homes go on the market. Now you see I have less than a month of inventory. We have 0.7. So this calculation can handle negative numbers if you have more solds than you do current active listings. Now, one thing I have people ask me all the time, do we include pendings in the active listings or in the sold listings? That is a choice that's completely up to you. All I recommend is that you remain consistent. We know that pending deals can flip, but if you're seeing a very low rate of that happening in your market, then I would shift the pending over to the solds. If you have a market where things seem to fall out of contract a lot, then put the pending over into the active listings. I hope that helps. Now here's an interesting fact, and this is something that I like to show my clients. As we go further up in the price ranges, we start to see that the months of inventory is increasing. In fact, in the $350,000 to $375,000 range, we're actually a little over 2 months of inventory. Now, of course, that's still a fast-paced market, but again, it gives you an idea of the talk track that you're going to have. So we've talked about buyers and investors, making sure they're prepared when you show them how fast things are moving. But what happens when it's a seller that you're talking to with the absorption rate? Here's one possible talk track. You've probably supplied them with a suggested list price range. Based on your research, the house may be valued somewhere between $250,000 and $275,000. We'll use that as an example. Well, we currently have 4 active listings in that price range, and 3 went closed last month. So we have 1.3 months of inventory. Now, if it's important to your seller that they need to close, get a deal under contract and close and move fast, then pricing towards the bottom range of this area, this price range that you've given them, would behoove them and help them attain the results that they were looking for. On the other hand, if you've got a client that says, oh, I don't care if I have to wait 6 months to get the price that I want, well, then you may want to recommend that they list on the higher price point, $275,000. So hopefully you're seeing some good information on how you can use this worksheet. It does take just a little bit of time, not long, to prepare. Your price ranges, again, may be smaller or larger, and you may need to go much further than $400,000 for your market area or for the area that you currently like to sell in. So again, this is all adjustable, and at the very bottom, we recommend put your contact information because, as I said, we've seen buyers and sellers hang on to this kind of information for a long time, so you want to make sure that they know how to get back a hold of you. I also recommend in this great big white area that we left right here, add your company's logo. Anything that you can do to brand your promotional materials is always a good idea. So now that was the one example. Real quick, I'm going to show you what the snapshot version looks like. A lot less information up at the top. Again, we recommend inserting your company logos. Right here is a good spot. You'll put the area, time period, your contact information right here, and you'll use that same type of information, active listings and sold listings from the month before, and the formula will do the rest of the lifting for you. Quick rule of thumb, a stable market is usually around 6 months of inventory. If it's greater than 4 months, then we're in a buyer's market. If the number of months of inventory is less than 4, then you can price properties more liberally because we're in a seller's market. All right, so I hope that this information helped you today. It gets you started. One of the things that we used to do in my office is that we would take turns each month who would prepare the absorption rate, and then we would give the Excel spreadsheet to everybody, and everybody could just customize it with their own information. So one more way to help collaborate with the great agents that you have in your office. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you get a lot out of this, and happy selling.